What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the single player Let's Play series. And so I've decided, I don't really have a lot of time to continue the editing style that I normally do, not normally, but the editing style that I tried out the other day in the last episode. It's a really nice style, but first of all, it's not unique. It's definitely taken from other YouTubers like Booty Toast and Andrew Period, so I don't want to copy other people. I just kind of want to do my own thing. Number two, it's super time consuming. If you notice, I don't know if this is part of it. It could just be that sometimes he doesn't have the motivation or he's got a busy schedule. I don't know his life, but Andrew Period, or just Andrew, I don't know what he prefers. I know he goes by Andrew Period on pretty much every live platform except for YouTube, in which case he's Andrew with a dot, which is a period. Back to the point. I know he goes at least about a week, if not longer, between episode releases. I have no idea if it's because of how much time he spends making awesome videos, or if it's because he doesn't have the motivation. I don't care. I think his videos are awesome. You guys should watch them if you don't already. But I wouldn't be surprised if part of it had to do with just how long it takes to edit them. Last episode, when I did my editing sequence that I did for it, it took 3 hours to make a 18-minute video. I'm sorry. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I don't have that kind of time to invest. So, with that being said, I've done a few cool things, and I've got some other things planned for the episode. I remodeled the outside of our house a little bit, and not too much. It's still pretty much basically the same, but I changed these to be a little more three-dimensional. I don't know why I didn't do this before. They actually look fantastic this way. Look more kind of like what they would in real life when they were originally used as... Essentially, this was used as like a trellis, or sort of like a trellis, or like a what's the word that I'm looking for? And it's just kind of structural, and then filled in with usually actually not wool, but I like the color. Normally it would be either a light plaster or something pretty cheap and lightweight. I also replaced our windows with chiseled glass. That's just instead of doing those solid glass panes that I did, this is the chiseled glass from Chisel, and I used some of the same planks that I used down here, these planks, to border it, and I think it looks pretty good. Over here I did a few changes as well. I made the same changes to these, not a big deal, but inside I added something up here. I haven't made a way to get up there yet, which is on my to-do list. I don't know how I should really implement a way to get up here. I guess I could have just done a ladder there, so why don't I just do that? I wasn't really sure, but I always like to make it so that you can get around inside of a house even if you can't fly, just because I think that's kind of a substantial part of house design, is not assuming that people can fly, because that's not a real life thing that people can do. And in the game you can do it, but I like to keep things at least realistic to some sense. So we'll stick some ladders here and here. Perfect. So what this area is for is a idea wall. I need more of these from you guys, so please let me know. But this is what I've come up with so far. Automated mining, and this is not in any order, by the way. I've got automated mining. I was thinking about doing Steve's carts for this. Cold fire, flint and steel. So there's a flint and steel now from cold fire? Igniter. That's what I should have called it. Cold fire. Igniter. There we go. And this thing makes cold fire. I don't know what that is, but this looks like a fun project because, and only because, you have to fill it using a vapor of levity. I've never made the vapor of levity before. So this is something that I would like to do because it looks like it looks pretty intense. So we have to go to the end and get a shulker to make this. So this is kind of cool. I have to assume, since this is so expensive to fill, that cold fire is pretty cool. I've never played with it. Might as well look into it though. The forestry bees are also on my list. Please don't think that I've left those behind. I don't have any need for them, but it's still fun to do stuff. An unbreakable chisel from Chisel and Bits. If I show you the recipe that I've created, this is one that I've made myself. There's two. There's the normal chisel, which has, I don't know how many uses. I could tell you if I really cared, but it's not a big deal. It has a good amount, but not infinite. And then if I take a look, though, there's also the... I made a custom recipe for a Chiseler's Delight variant, which is a normal diamond chisel, but it's unbreakable. You can use it as many times as you'd like. It's 4 obsidian, 4 nether stars, and a diamond chisel. A wither skeleton farm would be really cool. It's something that we need to probably get around to doing anyways. And a wither killing spoof of fire. This is kind of like what I've built on Forge Serve, where you use a few of the reinforced bricks from Ender.io to make, and I think it only takes 11 of them to make a wither-proof containment area, rather, that does not explode and keeps the wither contained. But then, before I even do that, I do want to kill the wither at least once legitimately without spoofing it with this thing. An RF tools to mention is a big maybe. I don't dislike the idea. I also don't think we maybe have any use for it if I go with either the mining cart or a quantum quarry even is also on the table. Deep Dark, though, is definitely something that I'd be interested in just to do it. But the recipe's pretty tough. It's an octuple compressed cobble, 2 Terra steel blocks, 2 dark steel blocks, and 4 irradiant uranium, or irradiant reinforced plate rather, which is a lot of advanced solar panel stuff. So that's a good ways away. This will be something we might look into pretty good, though. More refined storage expansion, more recipes to be added, more storage as far as both storage drawers and just plain drive storage. But we're going to need to make more RF as well, because I actually had to take down the network connectors that I had over at the gardens, because it's just way too much RF usage. Our grid was using like 700 RF per tick. Pretty ridiculous to just have a grid up there. That was all that was up there, was a grid, and it was using so much RF. A disenchanting lens. This is because I've actually gotten a few really good books from the Fisher, so we might look into doing this one today. Auto crafting some of the actually additions foods, because there's some pretty good ones in here, and they are definitely worth looking at. I wouldn't mind getting something like pizza going, but a lot of these resources might require some work. However, the salmon or fish we're getting already automatically. We can make a carrot farm if we want to. In fact, we could do that very easily. Mushrooms are going to be our biggest challenge here. Cheese from milk and egg, I think I can manage that. And dough, very easy. And then fight the Guardian of Gaia. I have a few other things that I've thought of as well, and one of them I just want to outright do today. So let's do it. That one sounds really fun. This idea sounds really fun. So if I grab some prismarine, I want to get probably 8 pieces, I would say, of this stuff. So we'll grab, well, do I want 8? No, I want 8 blocks, or 16 of these, sorry. Trying to think of the math. So we'll grab these because I would like to make a shuriken today. We tried the bows previously and they aren't bad, but I would, and I've discovered a few things, but I would like to make a shuriken today, and I wouldn't mind making it an unbreakable shuriken just because why not? It's going to require me to... Why do I feel like that did something wrong? You ran out of power. That makes sense. And that should be the last one. There we go. So now I should be able to get plenty of prismarine blocks. And so now I'm trying to think. I'm going to do 2 of those. Let's see. I want 1 out of paper. 1 should be out of copper. And I don't believe I already have a knife blade to cast, so we'll want to grab some... Do I have any aluminum brass? I do. Perfect. So we'll hop on over here. And I've already got some iron in there. I don't think that's going to give me any problems. 5 ingots worth. Probably not. Honestly, let me see. What am I short on? I'm not really sure. Let me just get the night slime out of here. I'm not even using it, and I don't really have any plans to either. To be honest, it's not the worst, but it's not the best for a tool material. So we'll go ahead and just trash that. I don't really care. And we'll make aluminum brass, and while that is cooking up, we'll run upstairs and look into some of our resources. So we're going to want to get a knife blade. We'll toss it in the... Well, we'll put that away. There we go. And we'll make 2 of these out of prismarine. So, okay, I was wrong about the material value. That's okay. 1 of these out of paper would be good. And then the last one, I should probably make out of something like paper as well, since it's just going to be... Actually, I've got wood. That works. This one's going to be used to make the cast, because I want the last one to be made out of aluminum brass. Rather, out of copper from aluminum brass. And I didn't do the calculation right, so we'll have an extra. It's fixed. So, we'll go ahead and get our shuriken here, and it's just going to show up here, so we will do 2 knife blades. We'll make these crisscrossity like that. So this is going to give us only 34 ammo. Our modifiers, though, we have 5 of them. If you know anything about these, then you know why I have 5 modifiers and what my very, very evil plan is. Essentially, when you have 5 modifiers on something, you can add obsidian to it, and by adding obsidian, or rather adding the reinforcement modifier to it, you can then have an unbreakable tool. It requires 5 of these reinforcements, though. Notice how many modifiers I have. Might mean that I plan on making an unbreakable shuriken. So actually, let me just make it... I don't know. I can't think of a funny name for this. We'll call them ninja stars because that's what everyone calls them, and everyone hates that. I want to say that dark steel is now a molten metal. I don't think it's a tool material, though. No, it does not appear so. But this gives us a little something. Not much. It has the XP values on it, though. So, if you see, though, I mean, these are pretty good. They're doing 4.33 attack, which isn't crazy, but it's good enough. So the last thing we're going to need is some obsidian, and I'm afraid we don't have enough. So what I'm going to have to do is go and mine some, because I'm just... that's just the best way to do it. If this was a sky block, there would be other solutions, but... you know, it's a single-player survival world. I have obsidian, I have lava somewhere, so why don't we just go ahead and get some? Someday soon, I'll make a lava generator. In fact, why don't we make a few more signs? And I will do... I said lava generator. I meant obsidian generator. I don't know if we can actually generate lava with this pack. Why don't we come over here and add that to our list? We'll do, actually, 2 things. I just thought of 2 things to add to the list. And why not? Cobble works. We haven't made one of those yet. And we'll just do... these signs here, since we can right-click to edit these. And that's that. So, I'm going to go get some obsidian, and I will be back when I have just enough. Alright, so I have come back with a ton of obsidian. I actually dropped it up already, but we have 400 obsidian now, so let me go ahead and clean up my inventory real quick. And what I want to do is I want to get some of that aluminum brass. I still have some left over. We're going to need 5 more pieces of it. If I come out here, we're going to need to make 5 just plain casts. So once this melts down, in the meantime, I'll put things where they belong. Mostly just putting this back in my fortune drill. Putting my water bucket away, and swapping out my baubles. Now that we have our molten aluminum brass, if I pour it out into an empty cast, it makes just a blank cast. And I need 5 of these, so I'm going to do these real quick, and I'll be back in just a little while. Alright, that's the last one. So we are all emptied out, and if I come up here to the crafting station, we can craft our 5 reinforcement modifiers. So the last thing that I want to do is put all 5 of them on here. So we'll see each time this is going to go up by 20%. We're now at 60, 80, and unbreakable. So the last thing we can do if we really wanted to is if I grab some, I think copper should repair it. If not, I'll grab some prismarine just to be sure. Is that I just want to make sure that the ammo is maxed out. I know it doesn't make a difference. They're unbreakable at this point. But, you know, it never hurts to just be sure. So there we go. Ammo, 34 out of 34. So you guys, one of the things, now that we have the shurikens done, that I would really like to look into doing is... I like these houses, okay, I like the styles of them, but I would like to change a few things about them, mostly the roof. I'm actually very fond of the quark brick tile roof. If we look at the brick, oh goodness, what is it called? Oh, you know, I think it's called just roof, or roof tile. Tile? Yes, here we go, hardened clay tiles. These are pretty cool, I think they look great. And I've come up with a few interesting designs just to kind of play around with. So I would like to do some of these things just in a really quick montage. One other thing that I made, or at least got ready, was I made some dark iron, or dark steel, right? Oh, okay. They're called dark iron bars because it's dark iron bars. That makes sense. So let's make a few of these just for fun. It's not really a huge deal, but I like them compared to these quite a lot. And in case you're wondering, the model from my resource pack where these ladders get their model is the same from this one. Ender.io ships with this model and I use it for the ladders here. This will just get us up and down a little bit quicker. Not too much quicker, but it's something. I might eventually just slap in an elevator over here. In fact, I should probably do that. I think it would be really cool to even have we could even do an elevator right here, even. I think I don't have anything up here. These are things that I might look into, just because I would like to fancy this up. So I'm going to do a little video montage at this point, and basically get the clay together, cooked and ready, and start working on replacing the roof, because I think all three of these houses, they're okay visually, but they do need some help. They need some help. So what do you guys think? I think it looks pretty good. From the outside, it looks a lot better than the inside, I will admit. I think that looks pretty nice, a little more rustic. I have a few spots here that are conduit facades that I just need to repaint. So let me very carefully do that. And then I also have one block here, which is a chiseled bit, which I also need to be very careful about. Let me take a nap real quick, and I will fix that. There we go. So if I just go ahead and break this, and we'll just do the same here, and I'll go ahead and cover it. That's better, isn't it? I think it is. So now we just need to repaint these two conduit facades. There we are, and that's pretty much done. I lit up the top of the house as well, so I think this looks pretty good now. I think we have a nice variation of color on the outside. My only concern at this point is the floor for the inside. This is very similarly colored. I might look into swapping this out in between episodes. I'm thinking if I do swap it out, I need ideas. I don't know what to swap it out with. What do you guys think if I either did oak planks? I might have to play it out. I don't think I'll have enough time to wait and see what the comments suggest, unfortunately. But I might consider doing something to the effect of swapping out the ceiling slash, well, the roof of this building, or of this floor, but then also the floor of this one, with either chiseled birch planks or something light colored. I like to have light colored ceilings. It makes the place feel nice. So I'll have to consider things like that once we get around to it. But for now, I want to go ahead and kind of look into moving things a different direction for the episode. So let me clean up my inventory and I'll be... Alright, my inventory has been reorganized. I'm just going to give it a little try using only the ninja stars as my melee weapon for the next little while, just to see if I can get these leveled up, because right now they're clumsy and I need more experience on them. So it's worth looking into doing. But I want to move the episode in a kind of different direction. I'm going to grab some mana stuff, because I can't go without doing Botania at least once an episode, isn't that right? So I'm going to need some diamonds as well, and I don't know if you guys noticed, at one point I actually did go mining like I promised. So let's go run up here to the gardens, and I'm going to make 4 pieces of mana steel. Whoops, that was already mana steel. And I'm going to make 4 pieces of terra steel from now. And I'm going to also start working on a few other things. So since that has to craft, let's look into making, or rather getting ourselves some living rock and some living wood, I think is what we'll also need. And then that should be good. Oh, I forgot to grab another ender pearl. I'm going to want to make another one of these, because we want to make a mana tablet. And I believe it's 2 of the living wood twigs. And we'll make our last one of these. We'll just do this. There we are. Fast forward that a little bit. And so now we should be good to go, I think, I hope, to making ourselves a Terra Shatterer. These are really great because they have a very nice large area of effect if you want them to. I'm going to go ahead and drop mine into this mana pool here, and I'm going to need to change the mana pool to deposit into... Oh, it already is set. Perfect. because as we let this fill up with mana, it's not necessarily doing anything with the mana itself as far as any sort of battery mechanism. What it's actually doing is leveling it up. So if we took a look at the one that I got originally, it was actually, as you can see here, a D rank. D rank means that if I right click on it, it has no effect, and therefore it's just a plain pickaxe. So there's nothing special about it. If you're going to make a D rank Terra Shatterer, you may as well just make a Mana Steel pickaxe or even an Elementium pickaxe if you'd really, really want to. There's no point. But I've already gotten this up to C rank, and I'm actually looking for B rank. B rank is about as far as I need to go, for my personal preference. There's A rank and S rank even. I believe SS rank is also the highest. Yeah, there we go. SS rank is the highest. It involves getting a ridiculous amount of mana, and I have no desire for it. Each ranking, however, upgrades the area of effect that it has when you mine with the special right-click activation ability. So right now, almost at B rank. I think it's an entire mana pool to get from D to B. B rank, perfect. Now if we hop over here, we can just run over to, I guess, our little mines here. And I'll just run downstairs real quick. And now that we're down here at the copper level mines, if I right click, you're going to hear a really cool little sound, and it's going to display a custom little sprite that looks like it's a little bit overgrown. And if I break a block with it in this mode, it's going to break a 3x3 area. Now you can see even unenchanted, it's pretty fast, but the upside of this is, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I've been carrying around the actual edition drills for about 10 episodes now, and they're okay. I mean, I have no complaints about them. There's nothing that I would change about them, but because of my playstyle, I tend to rotate between needing just your plain standard 1x1 breaking and then also higher like 3x3 breaking. And because of that, you know, because I'll work on big digging projects or whatever, because of that, that's why I always have this extra drill. And that kind of gets old after a while. V-Tweaks adds a recipe for it, or rather not adds a recipe, but has an enchantment that involves just a lava bucket and some experience, and it adds an auto smelt enchant. So this auto smelt enchant is particularly useful because it stacks with the fortune enchantment. And we're gonna need 30 levels for this one. I do remember this recipe off the... Oh, I thought it was 30, but it's 15, that's right. It was 30 before the grand experience change of like 1.8. So, 15 levels will get you auto smelt. This is the only way you can get this enchantment. That way you don't ruin a tool with a lame enchantment. Unbreaking 3. So now all we need is fortune, which is just some emerald. So 27 levels, that's actually exactly what I have. That's really funny. Perfect. And so now if I come over here, how many levels of experience is fortune 3 going to take? 6. Okay. And then lastly, 5 levels for auto smelt, right? Right. And there we go. Now, what's really cool about how the Terra Shatterer handles its breaking is that it's relatively universal. So, auto smelt works on the area of effect breaking that it adds, which is really, like, probably one of my favorite things in combination. I've never done a Terra Shatterer with auto smelt in survival, but I tested it in creative because I was curious if it was going to work on my creative test map, kind of as my debugging for, or not debugging, but my mod testing, just to be sure. I like to make sure that my mod works well with other mods, because V-Tweaks is one of those mods that I can't play without anymore. It's really quite funny. Like, there's a few features that I just absolutely have to have nowadays. So let me go show you what this looks like with auto smelt. So if I break a block, boom, we got a piece of tin from that. Now, we only got one, so you might be a little concerned. Don't be. The fortune interaction should start working with a few different blocks, but you have to override some of them. Icy 2's ores is one of them that you have to override. I don't really understand why this is the case, but fortune smelt does not work on these for some reason. Without overriding it, rather. That's why I added the override config, is so that if you run into an ore that doesn't work, you can just add it in manually. But all the experience will be calculated, and you can see, there we go, we got, from 3, we got 8. That's pretty awesome. How many will we get from 3 here? 2, 3, we had 8. Now we have 16. So you can see that the fortune smelt, I mean, it uses the exact same fortune calculation mechanics as usual. So it's very nice because you'll have a mix between worlds here. And like I said, it works in an area of effect. So now all of these items are going to get smelted all at once. And you're going to get some experience from it because, of course, I'm clever, not really, and I add the ability for the Terra Shatterer, or rather the auto smelt recipe, to give you the calculated experience from smelting an item. So this is really cool. Let me go through and add the IC2 ores to the config. It's really easy. All I have to do, if you don't know, is if I come in here and we'll just grab an ore just for testing. If I go F3H, you'll see that there's ore tin, but it's also the very first line under tin ore is IC2:resource. So all I have to do is go to vtweaks, which I'm going to have to actually log out of my world, and all you have to do is go into vtweaks, config, and then if you go under enchantments, there's a fortune autosmelt, or autosmelt fortune interaction overrides, and so if you just add IC2:resource, I've never tested to see if this requires a restart, so we're going to find out. Let me find another piece of tin ore, or actually here's a piece of copper. Okay, it looks like I might have to restart, so let me do that real quick, and then I'll be back when we have it working. Oh no, I didn't have to restart. See, there we go. So that was 2 pieces of copper, and now it's 8. So there you go. That's how you add an auto smelt override. Pretty useful. I kind of thought that that wouldn't require a restart, but I wasn't certain. Alright, well I think this is pretty cool. So let me go, I'm going to go through here and just fight some mobs to see if I can get these shurikens leveled up some. Because I'd really like to get a level of sharpness and maybe even fortune, or rather looting. But that's going to require quite a bit of, well, of use, of experience. So I'll be back in a little while. So I was just mining, and I noticed something pretty interesting here. The Terra Shatterer, whenever it's activated, I actually had to go look it up in the Lexica Botanica, or Botania, rather. Because I thought it was a bug, because I've used these before, but I always get them, like, far over-ranked than I actually use. Evidently, and I thought it was a bug at first, I swear, but I read into it. Evidently, the more you keep the Terra Shatterer activated, not even using it, just activated in general. If you keep it activated, then you're actually going to decrease that ranking slowly but surely. So that's why I've gone back down to a C rank, actually. Kind of surprised me. I didn't know that that was possible, and then read about it and was like, oh, dang, that's kind of crappy, but that's okay. I don't think this is going to be a big deal at all. I think this is something we can seriously be just fine without worrying about. Something else that I read about that I was not aware of is that it doesn't despawn. So we're just going to leave it in that mana pool while we go and put some quartz on the ninja stars that we made. And probably going to call it an episode there because I think we've done a pretty substantial amount of stuff. Did a minor amount of remodeling after all. So let's come over here and tool forge it up with some quartz. That's going to bring me up to 6.27 attack damage. That's not the worst. Not the worst at all. Alright, well, I think that's pretty much going to call it for the episode. I think at this point I should be ready to pick this up too. This is relatively decent B ranking, and I'll just keep this off for the most part, which is a fair point to bring up, is that I won't really need to leave it on very much at all. So I'll be leaving it off for a little while and just kind of working around that, and I should probably fix this. But I will see you guys in the next episode then, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Take it easy.